Hello, welcome back to this recorded video. So this is actually the third part of our repeated measures ANOVA discussions. I'm Dr. Melanie Gigurat, and the purpose of this video is to discuss the generated table in part 2. So first, let us just have a review of part 2 before continuing our discussion on how to interpret the values or the tables generated. So this is the table, or rather this is our data set. We're in data product 1, 2, 3, ratings for products 1, 2, 3, and 4 are encoded. So for us to generate, so in our video 1, what we click is the analyze, general linear model, and the repeated measures. So we encoded 4 because we are comparing 4. However, here it's already placed because of course we are done doing that. And then we also define it, and then we place all the products 1, 2, 3, 4 in place of the values in the here in the within subject variables. We also explore the different items here, like the models, the so we did not touch anything there. Contrast, we make sure it is polynomial. Plots, we just transferred factor in horizontal axis and click add. And post hoc, so we cannot touch this. For options, we transferred overall and factor, click the compare main effects, and then we choose Bonferroni. So here, in our video or in our part 2, we just said check estimates of effect size. But if we want also to see the descriptive statistics or the means in each of the product, anyway, that is what we really want to compare, then we have to click descriptive statistics and then click continue and okay. So this is now the tables that we are going to interpret. So let's move. So this is the additional table that we weren't able to generate in our part 2. So we have it here. So it shows the value of mean and the standard deviation. So we also mentioned in our video that we have here the result of multivariate test or the MANOVA. But at the moment, of course, we're not going to consider this first. Just to recall, our first video talks about the discussions on assumptions. So for example, for our concern on normality, our data is normally distributed by central limit theorem because our data is at least numerical. And our n, as presented here, the value of n is equal to 40. So which means that if we have, as mentioned in the central limit theorem, if our sample size is at least 30, then it approaches to normal. So that's actually the reason why we did not check that initially, because we already know that our data is numerical. It is the mean rating or the average rating. And then aside from that, the sample size n is 40 by CLT, central limit theorem. Our data, we are sure that our data is normally distributed. So this is the result of the MANOVA. So we are not going to use this at the moment because our concern is to make sure or to check first the sphericity or the result on Moch-Lee's test of sphericity. So this is one of the important assumptions highlighted in our first video. Okay, let's clear that first and let's see what's the result. So going down here, this one. So in this table, the Moch-Lee's test of sphericity, we have again to see or to check the value of the P. So we know that when we use the test for normality and other lessons in using inferential statistics, if the result is less than 0.01 or 0.05 in general, then it means that we violated the assumptions. So in this value, since P is equal to 0.001 and this is less than 0.05, it means that the assumption the assumption on sphericity was not met. But we highlighted again in our first video that we have, of course, some alternatives. So we have, in case that just like in our data, our assumptions on sphericity was not met, we have to consider the epsilon. So in epsilon, we will be looking at the value of the greenhouse and the wind belt. But we also have here the lower bound. So just to have an idea, this means that this is the lowest epsilon and the highest is 1. So we cannot generate an epsilon that will be above 1. Now, looking at the greenhouse, geyser, and Hohenfeld, the values are above 0. Both above 0.75. Now, if our value is above 0.05, if it's greater than, we will be using wind belt, this one. So we will be using wind belt. But if it is below, in case that it is below, we will be using the greenhouse geyser. And where can we see that result? So just to recap, what we did in this table is to look at the value of the P to see if we met the assumption on sphericity. Since the value is the 0.001 and it is less than 0.05, it means that we did not meet the assumption on sphericity, so we considered an alternative. So for the epsilon, we have to check if it is above 0.75 or if it is below 0.75. So we were able to see here that the values is 0.75 and 0.798 above or equal rather. If it's in above or equal 0.705, then we will be using wind belt. So if in case it is below, then we will be using greenhouse. So let's clear that again. And let's move to the tests of within subject. So this is what we can report in place of since we rather did not meet the assumptions, we did not met assumptions on sphericity. So this is the result that we will be reporting because the epsilons are 0.75 and above. So the value that we will be reporting is the value of wind belt. Now, we have here other results like, let's go down here, tests of within subjects. But of course here, it also shows whether, I remember that we considered polynomial. That's why it is also generated that we have a linear, quadratic, and cubics. That is what we are referring to polynomial when we make sure that in contrast we check or we saw that the default is the polynomial. So it just simply means also that if the result is significant or not. Like for example here, these are the p-value. So it is not significant, 0.0, because p is equal to 0.866. So there is no linear relationship. There is no cubic relationship because again, it's not significant, 0.0078, but there is a significant quadratic relationship because the p is 0.027. But when we are answering our problems on repeated measures ANOVA, sometimes we are not required anymore to report this, but we can use this also as a support. As, for instance, if the result is significant, so we are also showing that it is supported, or it is supported by our quadratic polynomial here, showing that there is a significant quadratic relation, or linear or cubic, so whatever will be the result. So we have again to clear that, and let's move to the next table. So in this table, we cannot use this, or this is not needed in the result because of course we do not have test of between subjects, so we will be disregarding this. And by the way, just regardless of whether this is below 0.75 or above 0.75, generally what is also indicated in the manual on how to use the repeated measures ANOVA is that we can use in place of Winfeld or Greenhouse the multivariate test. In particular, the most commonly used here is the Wick's lambda. So it's up to you if you prefer to report the result of Winfeld or the Wick's lambda. So let's go down. So because we use, or rather we generated the pairwise comparison, of course, even if the result was not significant, it will also still provide you with this. But this is not needed at the moment because our result is not significant. So we don't need to compare because obviously there is no significant difference. So let's just go back. How did we know that there is no significant difference? So we interpreted the value of, remember that we went here to see what will be reported. And the one that we will be reporting is the Winfeld. This is the Winfeld. And the p-value here, so let's just go back. The p-value is 0.02. P is 0.062. It is greater than 0.05. That's why it is, the result, I mean, is not significant. So there is no significant differences in between our products, between the four products. So let's clear this. So going down, we can still, of course, see here the plot. So it seems that if we will just rely on the plot, it seems that product 2 is significantly lower because it's too far from 1, 3, and 4. However, the result shows that using the inferential statistics, particularly the repeated measures, it shows that there is no significant difference. So to report this, we can just simply edit the generated table in the Microsoft Excel. And this is the edited form. Okay, so I transferred here the value of the mean and the standard deviation in L, and I just added the value of the Winfeld. So the Winfeld shows that This is already seen in the table generated, so I just transferred it here. So the F, degree of freedom is 2.394, and the value is equal to 2.705. P is equal to 0.062, and the eta square or the effect size is equal to 0.065. So of course, when we give the interpretation for this table, since our purpose is to compare the average ratings of these products, then we can start with the interpretation by comparing the average rating, like stating that based on the computed values of the average, the highest is the product 1 with, of course, a slight difference to with the product 3, followed by the product 4, and the lowest average rating is the product 2. However, after doing the repeated measures ANOVA, using the wind belt correction, so the result shows that there was no significant differences in the average rating of our products. So the products are rated by the respondents, or the rating of the respondents in the products, in the different products, in the 4 products are the same. So, or we have here a simplified interpretation also. Let us move to the next slide, this one. So I just emphasize here the results. So repeated measures ANOVA with Winfeld correction was conducted to assess whether there was a significant differences between the average ratings of the 4 products. The results indicated that the participants did not rate the 4 products differently. So that is the result, and that is how to interpret the table. So thank you for watching.